Welcome to A Toast to Truth. This is where I share the mental, financial, and emotional frustrations of being an entrepreneur. This is season 9, episode 2. You achieve or don't what you believe. And this week I have a guest co-host. It is Denika Carothers. She is my life coach. I call her so many other things, but the simplest thing that you guys will understand is life coach. And you're definitely going to understand how my transformation happened just by hearing the conversation that she and I will have today. But before we get into the conversation, I want to share how we met. We actually met through mutual people. I remember, I think it was the first time we really got to know each other. She and some of her friends owned this space where I rented when I hosted an event for Fusion a few years ago. And so it was this cute little house on Richmond. It was closer into the city, and we packed that place out. Like, the whole space was like full. We were like, it was cars everywhere, but it was just the energy from Denika and her whole circle. I just gravitated to them. I enjoyed the space, and Denika and I have kept in touch ever since. And she was someone I turned to that when I went through a very, very dark time, she reached out to me. And at that time, we worked together, but I wasn't truly ready. And you'll hear it, I believe it's like the next episode, episode 3, where I was going through a very dark, depressive time, but I just wasn't really ready to come out of it. But in 2018, another dark time, she reached out again, and this time I was ready, and I was ready to really kind of release, let go of everything. So let's hop into the conversation. This week's question is, what do you believe about yourself? So I'll go ahead and kind of let Denika answer that briefly, and we'll get into a discussion, but I'll let her answer that question. What do you believe about yourself? And then I'll answer my thoughts.
Well, 3 things come to mind when you ask that question. Let me first say, Vanetta, I'm so grateful and just so honored to connect with you in this space. But the 3 things that come to me about me, what I believe about me, number 1, first and foremost, that I am a PoweHERful awakened woman. I also believe that I am the incarnated being of God. And that was given to me probably about 10, almost 10 years ago, when I was seeking who I was, and I asked Spirit directly, and I heard those words directly: you are the incarnated being of God. And having an awareness now and understanding of what that means, I absolutely believe that that's who I am. And the third thing that I really believe about myself is that I'm a being of love and light, that my life is here to bring transformation to others and to help others understand the power of love and understand the power of light in their own lives.
And that, my friends, is why when Denika reached out that second time, I was like, yes, I'm definitely going to put effort into what she shares. So what do I believe about myself? I'll start from the professional side first. I believe I am a successful blogger because I have accomplished a lot, and there's so much more that I want to help other people do. As far as my personal self or personal life, I believe I am a fighter, and not the sense that everybody knows me as someone who likes to fight other people, but I am a fighter because I want better, and I want to do better and be better for myself. So if that means I have to do whatever I need to do to get away from anything that's holding me to what I used to be or how people used to view me, then I'll fight that to let it go, to remove it out of my being. Whether people still attach that to me or not, that's their perspective. But as far as I'm concerned, I have fought myself into a place where I no longer feel certain things or are a part of who I am at this moment. They were a part of who I was. And so let's kind of talk about where you said you were a PoweHERful being, because a lot of because I'm going to do a live with another lady about searching for empowerment. We both have our personal opinions about women empowerment events, and I have my personal opinion about women always seeking empowerment from others. But what I like that Denika does is that she doesn't give you her power when she works with you. She helps you really understand your own power, and she gives you exercises to dig into that toolbox that you may not use and to start using your own tools. So for someone who is, because this season's theme is the real struggles of entrepreneurship. So if someone is struggling with believing in who they are, or even their abilities, and they have them, they have shown them, people know they exist, but they're still struggling internally, how can they become a powerful being?
Well, it really all goes back to belief. And I like how you said that I don't give people my power, and I don't, but I give you access to my power as I help you to tap into your own power. One of my most favorite scriptures is God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And so, sound mind, really break that down, that's self control. And so I believe that if God has given us all of these things, then this is who we are. And hence why I am a PoweHERful. I put my own divine feminine spin on the word power, y'all. It's POW, capital HER, power her, because I work with the divine feminine and helping them to fully awaken to the power within them. But I really love the title or the focus of this season, the real struggles of entrepreneurship, because this is how a lot of people think about life. They think about life in terms of struggle. They think about life in terms of difficulty. They think about life in terms of hard. But the reason why most people experience difficulty is because they believe in struggle. They believe in struggle. And that's why me personally,
That's
I don't like,
powerful.
yeah, and I don't like the word hustle, because to me, it just feels like a bunch of struggle is on that. But how many entrepreneurs have that mindset of hustling in their business? What's that song? Every day I'm hustling, hustling. Oh,
Yes, you hear it
yeah.
all over. It feels overwhelming to me, like, you
Mhm.
know, constant pressure. That's what hustling feels like to me.
Yeah. And whenever you say it is hard, which so many people declare, and we're going to, hopefully, we're going to get into the power of words because we're talking about belief. But whenever you say it is hard, you are actually coming into agreement with struggle taking place in your life. And so, how you move beyond that is, well, oh boy, we're going to get deep here, Bernetta, because see, there's the subconscious mind and there's the conscious mind. And 90% of the place that we operate from is our subconscious mind and not our conscious mind. And the subconscious mind is programmed with all of these belief systems, like struggle. That's a belief system. It is hard. That's a belief system that came in from somewhere. And until you're able to identify the root causes of your experience or the underlying issue for the symptom, you're going to continue to try to mask the symptom, treat the symptom, but you continue to experience the same thing over and over again because the root, which is the belief system, is still in place. And so you really have to target the belief system.
I believe that. I really do. And for people who were like me, like in the past, where um, the stories I told myself were everything. It does take time to really break it down if you're guarded, if you don't want to let it go, if you have told yourself this is what you truly believe. And as a blogger, it the stories you tell yourself become very true because you start seeing other people's versions of their life online and you start feeling some type of way. I talk about it in another episode this season. First episode. But it's like you start to believe, oh, I'm not as good as this person, or I should be doing more because this person seems like they're doing more. And then you start giving your power to other people, and then you start building that whole, well, I gotta hustle more, I gotta hustle more. And then it's like a constant state of chaos and stress and overwhelm and anxiety.
Yeah, but let me. I want to give your listeners. I want to give everybody who listens to this. I want to give you a golden nugget. I want to give you some life right now. You said about watching other people on social media, watching what other people do, and then you feel like you of no effect. Let me tell you something. Comparison will cripple you. Comparison will cripple you. Comparing yourself to what other people are doing will create obstacles and limitations to you all the time. You have to tap into your power, into who you are. You have to understand and identify your gifts so that you can bring those to the surface. Because when you're looking at what somebody else is doing and comparing it to what you're doing or not doing, it will make you feel insecure. It will make you feel less than. It will make you feel as if you're not enough every single time. You know, I know we're talking about entrepreneurship, but it's funny that this happened yesterday. I was in the gym yesterday. And one of the things that I've been noticing lately, especially with women of color, is how beautiful we are. But in addition to that, how different we are. It's like women of color, you can put a bunch of women of color in one room, and it is just a plethora of all of these differences, you know, body size, color, hair, everything. But everything is so beautiful. But if you're looking, you know, I saw this one girl and her body was banging, you know, and then I looked at my body and I was like, girl, your body is pretty good, because she's about 20 some years old and your body is pretty good. But what I started doing is admiring the beauty in both of us, rather than looking at her beauty and allowing it to take something away from mine. And that is one of the things that entrepreneurs have to understand. Stop comparing yourself to what other people are doing.
I agree, because you can see the greatness of what that person is doing, or even how great that person is, but you can also see the greatness that you're doing. And one thing I have learned is that some people's greatness is meant to transform a multitude of people. Some people's greatness is meant to transform one particular person, who's then going to go and transform a multitude of people.
Yes.
And so we can't say, well, that person gets 2,000 people at their event, but this person only gets 100. That person must have been meant to get 2,000 people, and you get 100, but you're still exuding your greatness. It's just specific people are meant to be attached to different people.
Yes.
Because I used to take it so personal when I would try to help people. I would do all this stuff, say all this stuff, and then they would go to someone else who would rip them off, and then they would give credit to that person, but they would be doing what I said. It would just frustrate me, because I'm like, that person didn't give you that idea or that plan for your business. I did. And it goes to that book. I'm gonna have to link it up, The Four Agreements. Denika, you know, a lot of people suggested it, but Denika was like, that's one book. And I finally read it, and it was the second agreement, you know, don't take things personal. And I always took things personal because I put everything into what I do. So if you want me to help you, I'm gonna put everything to help you. And then if you don't take advantage of that help, then I feel like you're just slapping me in the face.
This is so good. This conversation is just bringing so much to me. I have my pen and I'm writing down. You know, let me say a couple of things here. One, ideas are universal. Ideas are not
I have
exclusive to one
learned that.
person. Okay. Ideas are universal. So are gifts. It's like a singer, right? Can you imagine if the only person that we could listen to singing was Michael Jackson? Now, as much as I love me some Michael Jackson, I don't want to just listen to Michael Jackson because I was playing his CD in my car. And after about 2 weeks, I needed to listen to something else, right? So
Yeah.
singers have gifts. Entrepreneurs, someone who is an entrepreneur, most people who are entrepreneur, what they are essentially doing when they step out in their entrepreneurship is they are offering the gift that they have to the world. Okay? That's what an entrepreneur does. So I love what you said. Some people, they just need to touch about 10 or 20 people. Some people, their
Mm-hmm.
gift is created and given to them to touch thousands of people. Some people, hundreds of thousands. Some people, millions of people. What entrepreneurs need to focus on, this will help you to move beyond the struggle, is focus on just growing where you are planted. Grow where you are planted. Stop, if you planted in Houston, Texas, to bring your gift to Houston, Texas, stop looking at what people are doing in LA and Las Vegas and Australia and Brazil and getting frustrated. Grow where you are planted. Grow there, and then you can decide that you're going to take a little seedling from that tree and plant it somewhere else. But just focus on your gift, focus on your calling, focus on your power.
I believe that because right before we recorded this, I always have these very vivid dreams, when I'm sleeping, and sometimes I wake up and like the left side of my head is pounding like a migraine. I used to suffer from migraines in elementary, which
Mm-hmm.
is very weird because even the doctors was like, "You're so young to have these types of migraines that." Um, I literally had to have the school would send my work home through a friend or my sister because I couldn't go to school. I just couldn't take it. Lo and behold, I needed glasses, but but this dream that I had, it was about a business that didn't make it. The Truth Confidant, for whatever reason, it didn't make it. But I did touch one person who left an abusive marriage, and her ex-husband, um, was arrested. And so essentially she
Wow.
was saying, I saved her life. So that's where the sometimes you're only meant to touch a few people. She's a person who supported my blog since the beginning. She came to my events, um, and she's not from Texas. So when I went to her city with Fusion, she came, she shares, she tells people about it. She's a very, very engaged community member
Mm,
of my blog community. So when she sent me that message and saying what she learned through journaling, that I was teaching helped to save her life. That's what I want people to get. Sometimes,
mm,
I can't share her name and all this stuff, but it doesn't mean that I'm less impactful than someone else who gets to
absolutely.
parade their results per se. So
Absolutely. And you
that's
can't put a
yeah,
value to that. I mean, you saved her life. That is freaking
yeah,
invaluable. Are you kidding me? And, I just want to say this, success is relative. Because
yeah,
however you view success is how you measure yourself against success. So what you're saying now is, I touched one person, but I was successful. You know, that's relative to you. That impacted you and impacted her. That didn't just impact her. That impacted you as well. And so if for
yeah.
that reason alone you had the Fusion tour, that it was
Yeah,
very
because
successful.
is I mean it's crazy because we met through Fusion. She bought into the Truth Confidant and did all of the stuff. She graduated with her second master's a couple of months ago. So I mean, she went ahead and started to relive her life. Who
Yes.
knows how many people she's going to touch with her message, because
Exactly.
I was faithful and obedient to having a business that I knew was not doing well, but I kept going at it. And if I had stopped, what would have happened to her?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I know some people love to parade, all their results. I do get results, but sometimes I can't share the specifics because they're so
Right,
personal to the people that I'm working with. But
right.
like you said, that's why I said at the beginning, I'm a successful blogger because I know the things that I have done. They have saved people's lives. They have helped people make money with their business. They have helped people make better decisions as far as the
Mm,
career they have. And so just because I can't parade it doesn't mean I'm not successful. And so we have to define our own level of success. And when you define it, that's when you start really believing that,
yes.
you're great and all these wonderful things about yourself. Because if you don't have a definition of who you are, who you want to be, or where you're going, you kind of just feel like a fish out of water. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
you start to doubt yourself.
And I love what you said because whatever you believe is what it is for you. And so you said, I'm a successful blogger. That's what you believe. That's what it is for you. You don't need anybody to qualify it, quantify it, validate it. I am the incarnated being of God. I don't care whether people align with it, whether they resonate with it. It doesn't matter. It's what I believe about myself. And so it is what I am. It's how I show up in the world every single day. And see, belief is a thought in your mind, and the thought causes the power of your subconscious to be distributed into all areas and phases of your life according to your thinking habits. So as you continue to think, I'm a successful blogger, what's going to happen? That's who you are. That's going to be your habit. You're going to do whatever is necessary in order to accomplish or fulfill or maintain that success. That is who you are. And when you hold that, now that's where you take it personally, right? Because
Yeah.
taking something personally is simply taking it into your person. You take that into your person. And when you have that, nobody can take that away from you. But again, when you go to comparison, like I said, it will cripple you. You're never going to feel good enough as long as you're putting your measuring stick against somebody else's measuring stick. And it really begins with your thoughts because your thoughts create what you believe about yourself.
That is so true because that is why me and the group did not click because I have such high standards for myself that I demand that I give everything to anything that I'm doing. And then I had to realize everyone doesn't believe that way. Some people
Right.
feel like if they put their name on a piece of paper, that's their commitment. Doesn't mean they have to follow through with action, you know. But in their mind, them signing a piece of paper is the same level of commitment of me putting my all into it. So it did take some time for me to grasp that concept because that festered anger and resentment and bitterness in me because I just felt like, man, I'm giving everything. And this person is like just showing up like I'm part of the group and they want credit. And I'm like, you didn't do anything. So,
But
so
as an entrepreneur though, and I learned this as an entrepreneur, the greatest lesson sometimes is learning what not to do. And the only way
yes,
that you're going to identify what not to do is if you come up against that situation. And so it's not a failure, it really is a success. But if you believe it's a failure, then that's what it's going to be. You are what you think about. If you think you're broke, you are. You think you're unhappy, you are. You think you can't, you won't. It begins with your thought process.
I believe that because I have no regrets in life, and people look at me crazy when I say that I have no regrets, and I've done some stupid stuff in my
Yeah. That girl,
so
we all have, honey.
so
You are
I've
not the
done
only one
some
with madness.
really stupid things in life, but I don't have regrets because I made conscious decisions. At that
Good.
time, that was based on the information I had, the
Mm-hmm.
maturity I had, the knowledge I had, and so I believed I was making a good decision. or I consciously knew I was making a bad decision, but I knew I was going to be okay with dealing with the consequences of
Yeah.
said bad decision. So when I knew I was making a bad decision, I said, okay, whatever comes my way, I'm gonna just do it because this is what I want to do.
See, I love that because you have to own your shit. Oh,
Yeah,
I hope it's
that's okay.
okay to say shit. That just become my favorite word, girl, because it just summarizes so much things. You have to own your stuff, but most importantly, look for the lesson in the experience. What did
Mhm.
this experience come to teach me? And I love what you said. You said, I was okay with doing it. So if you're okay with doing it, then do it and own
Yeah,
it. Girl, let me tell you something. There's If we all was gonna be cast out of the world for doing stupid shit, none of us would be here because we
exactly.
all have done stupid stuff. But like a lot of people like to talk about mistakes, and entrepreneurs use that word a lot, mistakes. And I have reframed mistakes for me personally. I say that our life lessons come packaged in quote unquote mistakes. The greatest lessons are on the other side, a quote unquote mistake or bad choice or bad decision. But and I say bad in quotation marks, because when you label things good and bad, then you allow them to take away power from you or give power to you. If you just view things as it is what it is, then you allow it to be whatever it was created to be. Don't label things good or bad. Things just are. You wouldn't know light without dark. You wouldn't know up without down. You wouldn't know in without out. That sounds really weird. You wouldn't know in without out, right? You wouldn't
I
know happy without unhappy.
and I think that's an American thing because I taught ESL for 11 years. So when you're around other cultures, they don't take everything as serious as Americans. Like time is whatever to a lot of them. Like we say 9 o'clock, you better show up at 9 o'clock. They stroll in at about 10:45. Like I made it. You're like, that's not
But
how it
girl,
works in it.
trust. I'm from the Bahamas, honey, and let me tell you something. Bahamians do not know time. If you want to have a party at 8 o'clock, you better tell everybody that it starts at about 5.
Yeah. So my students really kind of they show me, even though I was still in the mindset of everything had to be rigid and structured and organized, and I'm not so much that way now as I used to be. I'm working on allowing things to kind of flow a little bit more, especially with this conference that I am planning, because I like to
Yeah.
have so many things already done, and some people are just taking their time with giving me answers back. I like, if it's a no, just tell me up front, so I can move on. And so it's just one of those things where I'm like praying every night. I was like, you know what? I can't even take it personal. I can't even get frustrated because I can't control other people in this sense.
Correct.
And
Correct.
at this point, I'm like, the things that are happening, they're happening the way that they're supposed to. And so this conference, the Get Me Paid Influencer Bootcamp, is really testing my faith and my patience.
Yeah. But you said something, and I wanna piggyback on that. You talked about I'm learning how to be in the flow, and if you think about it, Vernetta, and if everybody listening to this podcast really thinks about it, joy and peace abide in the flow of right now, because the only thing that exists is right now. If you think about it, right now we have everything that we need right now. Joy and peace is in the right now. You start to get anxious and frustrated and fearful when you thinking about what the past that no longer exists or the future that no longer exists. If you allow yourself to flow in the moment, joy and peace will abound, will abound. Hallelujah.
There's this, I wish I had screenshot it to read, but and so I'm gonna kind of give my remembrance
Paraphrase.
of it. So it was talking about forgiveness, and essentially it was saying that you need to forgive because you cannot make the past better.
Mhm.
And so, oh man, I wish I had saved it.
Well,
Anyway,
Okay, so Oprah Winfrey, I think I'm going to help you here. Oprah Winfrey said this, and to me, this was the absolute best definition of forgiveness I've ever heard. Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been any different.
yeah, it's very, very similar. But when I saw that, I had to forgive myself for being
Mm,
too hard on myself.
mm,
And,
mm,
a lot of entrepreneurs, we put all this pressure on ourselves. Like I talked about in the first episode about, comparing, but it's not even comparing. It's like if you don't finish your quote unquote to-do list, you feel like, you didn't do well that day. I'm like, you know what, if I got a response or if I finished this or if I did that, I did good. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself anymore
mhm.
because those who've been following the journey, you all know I collapsed in my classroom last year and I could have died from that. And it was stress. It was stress from everything that was going on at work, in my personal life, with the blog association, like everything just kind of hit me at once. And I started getting lightheaded, and my students were like, Miss Franny, are you okay? Are you okay? Next thing I know, I'm on a linoleum floor looking up at the ceiling. So
Mhm.
I've learned that I cannot hustle and put all this pressure on myself. And I'm in my sabbatical year. So that's very hard for me because I believed I was a person who always needed to do something or be
Mhm.
seen as doing something. So to take this year of rest, that to me has been more challenging. 'Cause I don't have a problem saying no, but it's like not feeling like I'm doing something, but allowing my body to recuperate has
Right.
been, it was hard it was. I know you don't use the word hard, but it was for me at the beginning of the year because I'm so used to always moving and doing. So to not, it was
Right,
different.
but when it was hard, you struggled in it. And when it
Yeah.
became, you know what, this is what I'm going to do, you didn't struggle in it anymore. And I want to help you to reframe something because,
Hmm.
our words are very powerful, right? Our thoughts create our words, create our beliefs, which create our words. You could not have died. No, you could not have died because if you were supposed to have died, you would have been dead on the linoleum floor. We wouldn't be having this conversation, right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that experience came to teach you a very powerful and necessary lesson for yourself. It was not it was not an experience unto death or you would have been dead. And that's what, so many people do. They focus on the sting in the story rather than the glory in the story. So the sting in that story is I could have been dead. But the
Hmm.
glory in that story is I learned a powerful lesson. I learned that self-care is of the utmost
Oh,
importance to me.
yes.
I learned that if I don't look out for myself and value myself and love myself, that I can't expect anybody else to do it. And so that's what that experience served for you. But again, you achieve what we're talking about today, you achieve or don't what you believe. If you believe that something is workable for you, it is. If you believe that something is not workable for you, it is or is not, right? And so, yeah, a lot of people they think about the Bible and religion and stuff like that when it comes to beliefs. But when the Bible talks about beliefs, it's not talking about a ritual or a ceremony or some institution, formula, or man. It is simply talking about belief itself. And the belief of your mind is simply the thought of your mind. You can't believe it without first thinking it. And so that's why you have to be really careful with the thoughts that you entertain. You cannot manage or control thoughts the same way you can't control what's broadcast on TV, on the radio, or on the internet. You cannot control the thoughts that come. Thoughts are just things. They just come and they just go as they please. But you absolutely have control over and can manage what you do with the thought when it shows up. So the Bible tells us that as you think in your belief, in your heart, because if you think something and you internalize it, consider it and internalize it, it becomes your belief system. So it goes into you. And whatever you think in your belief, you are. Okay. And so this is why I do this work with my clients, and you will hear me all the time, like how I just, lovingly guided you to reframe that. I used to drive my children crazy because I've been reframing a long time. But it's because the words that you speak are life or death. Every time you speak something, see it as a seed that you are putting in the ground. And when you speak again, you put water on it. When you speak again, you fertilize it. And so you have to be very mindful of what you're thinking about, because you're going to create it. Because whatever you believe, you're going to say it. What you think about, you be about,
And
because you
with
speak
that,
about
we're going to take a sip and we'll be right back. Houston Catering Concepts is a full-service catering company in Houston, Texas. They are looking forward to catering your next event or family celebration. You can choose from Mexican, I love Mexican, Persian, barbecue, and more. Oh, and they are the food sponsor for Get Me Paid Influencer Bootcamp. Contact them today by phone 832-594-7296 or email orders with an S at houstoncatering.com. Mark your calendars. September 19th is the Get Me Paid Influencer Bootcamp. It's a one-day conference helping you understand the operational side of being an influencer so you make more money. Throughout the day, you'll learn different strategies you can add to your action plan. And that action plan is what you will implement when you leave. Make sure you go to gum.co/getmepaid19 to get your ticket today. No matter what, the freedom of waking up and not stressing out about money, paying your bills, getting things done, especially for your blog, is indescribable. And we want you to have that feeling too. So make sure you go to gum.co/getmepaid19 to get your ticket. Okay, so we're back. So we needed to take a sip at that moment because Denika was like just pouring so much into us, and we needed to take a pause, reflect, let it soak in, let it seep in, go back, rewind, take our notes. But you will definitely learn more from Denika at the Get Me Paid Influencer Bootcamp. But if you're not able to come to Houston, I definitely, you'll go to the show notes and click her link and learn more, because the group coaching program I went through with Denika last year, and y'all know I have no shame. I tell people everything. I walk in the glass doors, like, so I cannot be embarrassed
no, you
from
don't.
from anything. But I didn't know what to expect. And so I had I could say for the first time probably I didn't have expectations. I didn't say Danica was going to save me, or this program was going to transform my life, or it was just going to be a waste of time or whatever. I had no expectations. All I knew at that moment, crying on the bathroom floor talking to Danica, I was
Mm.
like, I was like, yes, I need something different, because obviously everything I've tried was not working. It was not working. And so for for entrepreneurs in particular, for entrepreneurs, content creators, influencers who feel that they have to do and carry everybody on their shoulder, because that's how I felt. I mean, it was like everything was coming in, pressure from all kind of ways I felt were coming my way. Now, again, that's my perspective. Other people could have just been thinking they weren't doing anything to harm me.
Mhm.
But for entrepreneurs who feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders and they believe they are drowning, um, what would you say to them?
Oh God, I'm so glad that you asked me this question. So I have a story. So yesterday, again, y'all can hear me say a lot of gym stories, y'all, because I'm working it out. I'm getting my health and my fitness right. So my daughter and I were in the gym yesterday, and we were, doing a set of deadlifts, right? And I wasn't feeling very well yesterday, so I was lifting lighter than she was. And, we just did like 4 sets of deadlifts, and she was lifting a heavy weight. And so, she picked the weight up, and the only rack that was available was one of the top racks to put the weight on. And I said to her, I said, you need some help? So now this is a weight, right? I said, you need some help putting it up. And she tried to put it up herself. And then, she had just finished doing these deadlifts and she was like, mm-hmm. She just nodded her head. I grabbed the one side, she had the other side, and we were able to easily put it up there. You don't have to carry the weight of the world by yourself. And this is what a lot of entrepreneurs do. You know this, Vernetta. I know this. You don't want to let people know what's going on, that you don't quite have it together, that you need some help, that you're on the bathroom floor crying and depressed because you don't know what you're doing with your life, where your life is going. But you choose to stay on the bathroom floor by yourself. But Vernetta realized she needed to do something different. Okay, so that's the first thing. If it's not working for you, you need to do something different. Okay, if it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it. But if it's broke, you need to find a way to fix it.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but if my computer breaks right now, and there ain't no monkey wrench in this house that's gonna help me to fix it, I'm gonna need to find an expert who can fix that. So the first thing you need to do is you need to decide what you need. You need to decide what you need. And you might even know the specifics. The decision might be, I just need to get the hell from here. Or I need to get rid of some shit, right? That might be the decision. You don't know what you need to do. But after that, you need to take action, because another important point in believing is this: believing for it without doing something to achieve it won't get it. And you will know when you truly believe it because you move towards it. You take action. So if you believe that you're called as an entrepreneur, you're called to do this business, okay, that's where it starts. But now you have to move towards the thing. If you're doing something and it's not working for you and you don't have the expertise, then you need to hire somebody, pay somebody, because the greatest investment that you can ever make is the one that you will make in yourself. So as an entrepreneur in 2018, I decided I was ready to go to the next level. Okay, them little, couple of dollars coming in was okay. I was paying the bills because I believed that I was going to pay my bills on time and every time. And guess what? I was paying my bills on time and every time. But I started to believe for more. But I knew that I didn't have the expertise of the place where I wanted to go to, because if I did, I would have been there, right? I hired a coach to take me there. And as I hired that coach, let me tell y'all something. I don't spend my money without putting belief and intention behind it. As I spent that $10,000, I'm going to be transparent, Burnett. I'm going to tell them my business. As I spent that $10,000, you best believe I set very specific intentions for what I was going to get. And you know what? It wasn't the coach. It was me taking action towards creating the thing that I decided that I deserved. And so you have to take action towards the thing. You got to understand, as an entrepreneur, you can't do it all on your own. You're going to burn out. You're going to fizzle out. You're going to frustrate out. You have to let other people in. And so, Bernetta, this is one of the things I really want to push you up for and say, I'm so proud of you, because you got to a place where you made a decision. You know what? I'm going to let other people in. I no longer want to try to do this on my own. And you open up that space for help to come in. And what happened? Help came in. And look at you and what you're doing now. Amazing.
Yes, help is great, because in the past, I wasn't a person who sought help, because honestly, I thought it was weak. I thought, like, if you couldn't handle your own life, what was the point of anything? And so through unlearning things that I have taught myself or I have observed, I realized that help is okay. And again, in episode 3, I'm going to talk about some help that I have received from a lot of people that I'm grateful for. But the help of having someone who is an expert in something that you are struggling in, or that you're weak in, or that you're not sure of, is the best thing you can ever do for yourself. Because a lot of times people look at it as the expense. You said you invested $10,000 in yourself. That's how I see it. You didn't give it to a coach. You
That's correct.
invested it in yourself. Some people may say, well, you gave this lady $10,000.
I gave
Well,
me 10,000.
yeah, yes. So I started, and I've always been like that. If I'm going to a conference, I'm there to learn. What am I going to learn to take away to apply? Um, but as entrepreneurs, people, for me, I'm gonna talk about me. People give me money and expect me to automatically make them a blogger who makes money or solves all their problems. And I'm like, it's kind of hard to do that when you don't have your own foundation to build upon. Like, you have to do some type of work. You have to fill in the holes. You have to have some type of consistency across something. Um, that's just general stuff. That is just general stuff in order to build upon, in order to have what you're wanting, in order to um, number one, if you want to call yourself a blogger, and I say this all the time, and I know people laugh, but it is true. If you want to call yourself a blogger, you should probably have a blog. Like,
Yeah, I would think so.
let's start there. You
Yeah.
we're laughing. Other people laugh when I say it, but you would be surprised how many people would tell me they wanted to be a blogger. 2 years later, they haven't found the right color theme they wanted for their blog, so they haven't started it yet, or they didn't have time to do it. I said, but you have time to post on social media all day when you're supposed to be at your job. That should be time. If you have time to post at your job on social media, you have time to write a blog post. And in all honesty, no one's going to read the first 10 blog posts.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to read it because no one wants to get invested into your blog if you were not going to be there longer than 10 blog posts. So that's something that a lot of bloggers are like, well, no one's reading my post. Okay, you posted once. No one read that one blog post, so you didn't post again for 6 months. They forgot about you. They forgot you existed. They forgot what you talk about. Like,
But
you
not
don't
only that,
exist.
they're not even taking you seriously. They're not
That
even
too.
taking, and this is the thing. People looking at you, they're not putting a comment, they're not putting a like, but you best believe
They
people are
watch you.
watching what you are doing. And you cannot be successful without being consistent. They're saying that they're a blogger, but they don't really believe that they're a blogger, because when you truly believe it, you move towards it. You take action, and you said about, you thought it was weakness. It's not weak. When you ask for help, it's not weak. It's wisdom. Even the scripture says it is not good for man to be alone. You have to reach out. And so for you who have been doing this for years, I mean, because when I first met you, this is what you were doing. You are the perfect person for people to connect to and pay, because like I said, with my coach, I didn't give her $10,000. I invested that in myself. And I wasn't looking to her to make me, but I'm going to tell you what, Renetta, you really get what you pay for. And honey, when I paid that
You do.
$10,000, you best believe I said the intention that I was going to be successful, because I was not wasting $10,000. And that's another thing too. When you're willing to invest in yourself greatly, you will attain greatness, because it's just a mindset tweak that happens when you invest in yourself. It's like you invest $1, you go to Walmart and you buy you some clothes. You ain't trying to worry about whether you hang that up, throw that in the dryer, throw that under the bed, under the floor. But you go in, what's that place? Lord and Taylor's, or one of those
Or
high-end
Saks.
places, Saks Fifth Avenue. That's what I was trying to think of. And you spend money on there. Oh, honey, you're not treating that the same way you treat a Walmart garment.
And it's also how you view things. Like, you can see a coach who's charging $10,000 and you can view it as a scam or a waste of money, because people know how I feel about coaches. And yet here I am having a conversation, recorded conversation you're all listening to with the coach that I've worked with. And so I don't think, I'm gonna put that disclaimer out, I don't think all coaching and all coaches are bad. I believe you have to look at the intention of the person. Okay.
Absolutely.
Do they care more about you doing whatever work needs to be done to get the results that you are seeking? Or are they looking to have you do something to make them look good? So I worked with in the past coaches who were more concerned about their appearance in their niche, and not so much about the people who are paying them, not so much about us actually moving forward or progressing. And so I don't have a, I don't dislike coaching and coaches. I know quite a few who are very, very good
Woo,
at what
thank
they
God.
do, you know. I I believe in betting because, like I said, in the Facebook Live I'm going to do with the other lady, that's where I have a little bit of an issue with empowerment, because some people see other people's brokenness as a way to make themselves look greater. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have a whole community of broken people who feel that you are the queen supreme in their life because you yourself are broken. See, that's what a lot of people don't get. You yourself are broken. It's just nothing but chaos. And
Yeah.
so I believe that you shouldn't prey on people who are broken. So Denika did not prey on me, and I mean pray, Prey, not
Because
Pray. But
I did play on you, girl. I did
yes.
PRAY on you.
but I put out but I put out a post on Facebook and my phone just flooded. And I at that moment I realized how many people really did care. Because it wasn't, people commented, people sent messages, but people called.
Mm-hmm.
People were like, answer this phone. You see me calling you, and people talk to me and stuff like that. So when Denika called, she did not Prey. She let me cry. She let me get it out. And then she said, here's something I have to offer you. And so what that is, and what I believe is, if you are an entrepreneur and a coach comes that way, they see where you're struggling and they offer a solution, but not in a way where it's going to make them better. Because Danica didn't ask me to go and tell other people that we work together. She didn't pressure me to go and say anything. But I could tell you, 2 weeks after finishing that program, Gumroad sponsored season 8 of this podcast, and I got on the promotional team for Cirque du Soleil. So the reason I got those two is because I was clear. I was more focused. I didn't have the mental fog and the clutter. But that would not have happened if Denika did not reach out to me and I wasn't receptive. If she had just seen my post and was like, oh, that girl always got problems, because y'all know I'm always posting stuff, you know, she could have easily been like, ooh, that girl always got problems. She's always posted, but she didn't. And so coaches like that, and I have business coaches and stuff who will reach out. I'm like, hey girl, you may want to check on this, or you may want to do this. And they're not asking, like they're not in my inbox asking for money or anything like that. You know what? I'll do it and I'll tell other people about them. Why? Because they genuinely care about who they work with. They
Yeah.
genuinely care about the transformation of the person. And that's why people like Denika are extremely successful, in their definition of success, because it's not about the money. It is more about what they are able to give, their gift, and that person receiving that gift. So Denika could have reached out to me and let me cry and said, here's a solution for you, and I could have been said, oh no, I could have been all in my feelings and felt like, why is this woman telling me I need to do all this stuff? But I didn't. And I'm sharing that because we were talking about help. And I want you guys to understand that there are some people who genuinely are placed in your life. They're God-given people who are placed in your life at certain moments. And you, at that moment, have to discern, is this the help that I am supposed to take at this moment?
I'm so happy that you said that, because I'm called to do what I do. I was born and raised in the Bahamas, honey. I had no plans, dreams, visions, or desires to leave my country. you know, even moving to the United States was all connected to the calling, was all connected to the purpose. And one of the beautiful things that, you know, I experience when working with my clients is most people who work with me tell me, I prayed for you and you showed up. And I take that very seriously because I understand that I am the incarnated being of God. I am the gift of God for other people to move to the other side, to come on the other side of rejection, to come on the other side of abandonment. Because, you know, that's not something that we got into in our podcast, but that's why a lot of people struggle in so many different areas of their life because of the rejection and the abandonment that they have experienced and that they fear experiencing again, you know. And like you said, if you're feeling called to it, if you're feeling drawn to it, you have to go with that. You have to honor that. That's your soul. That's the higher part of you telling you, look, go in this direction. That's why so many people end up down the wrong road, because they don't want to take the guidance and direction. It's like you having the GPS. You don't know where you're going. You put the address in the GPS says go here, and you decide you want to go there. And then you won't get mad when you don't end up at the place where you was trying to go. You know, be led, you know, honor the calling of your soul. And if you believe as an entrepreneur that you are here for a reason, that there is a gift in you, but you don't quite know how to put the pieces together, then seek out the help. You know, Renetta is having this conference in September that I'm really grateful and excited to be a part of. You know, is the Get Me Paid Influencer. If you ain't getting paid, then you need to learn from somebody who's getting paid to do it. If you're not walking in your power, if you're feeling rejected, then connect with somebody and invest in yourself to move on the other side of it. Because I'm telling you, rejection and abandonment and not knowing how to get paid are three things that will definitely keep you from being a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah, and that rejection, people don't realize it also affects your business, because you can go into a meeting or you can be sending an email and you can have it in the subconscious of your mind, oh, this isn't going to work out. Well, then why send that email? Then why show up to that meeting, you know?
Yeah.
Or it was season 1, I think it was episode 5, where we talked about, you know, family not supporting. I don't care if my family support or not, because they're not my clients. Like no one in my family blogs, you know. Do they go to events? Yeah, and I reached out to them about an event, and some have gone, some shared or whatever, you know. So I don't look to my family to be like my financial customers, you know.
Right.
If they support, they support. If they don't, they don't. And so many people feel abandoned in their business because they don't have family and friends supporting them. And I'm like, would you buy from you? You know,
but even when they have that experience, their belief really is, if you remove all the story, the belief, the underlying belief and the mindset is that people don't support me. So now you might put your brother, your sister, your mama, your dad, but the belief is that people don't support me. And so again, whatever you believe is going to be so for you. So let's look at someone who believes that they don't have enough money, right? What do? Every time they get money, because people who say they don't have money, they lie. Because if you look in their wallet or their purse or a pocket or a piggy bank, they got money, but they're declaring their belief is that they don't have money. So what they do is every time they get money, they spend it, leaving themselves without money. Hence, a person who believes they have money, what do? Every time they get money, they save it or invest it, giving themselves the experience of having money. When I felt like I was fat and out of shape and ugly, what did I do? I would eat a whole pack of Oreo cookies. I would go to the fast food restaurants and eat food. So I am supporting the me being fat. But when I switched that belief and decided that I am healthy, that I am flexible and I am toned and I am sexy and I am gorgeous and I am amazing, what did I start doing? I started going to the gym. I started hiring nutrition coaches. I started taking the action towards what I was now believing. So entrepreneurs, what do? you believe, because if you believe that you can achieve it or not achieve it, you're absolutely correct.
And with that, we are going to get ready for our final toast. Okay, so I'll let Denika go first. What do you want people to walk away from this episode knowing?
I want people to walk away from this episode knowing that you are what you think about. You have, you do, based on what you believe. So think carefully.
Okay, so my final toast, it's funny because I thought I had one coming in just based on, conversations Denika and I had leading up to this. But I'm going to say my final toast is it's okay to accept help. And the reason that's going to be my final toast in this particular episode is I was I was in the world of struggle for so many years. And I felt that that was natural, that that was what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to feel, I don't know. Y'all don't ask me questions why I felt like that was normal, you know. But when Denika offered her help and I accepted it and I started doing the work like before the first session, I had already done the homework and then I told her I was like there were some questions I couldn't answer because I had blocks in my mind, in my memory. Like it was so hard for me to answer, and I was talking to a friend about it, and I said the sheer fact that I couldn't um, say what brought me joy. I said, Vanessa, I cannot believe I can't answer this question. Like, how can I not answer this question? I was there, I was 34. I was like, how could I not answer a question like that? So to receive help, to be able to remove and unlock things, to allow me to be in the mindset of I am a successful blogger. I am a great person. I'm
Yeah.
passionate about life and what I do, and I want the best for everybody, even people I cannot stand. I I want the best for them because whatever life is supposed to have for them, I want them to receive it. And so without accepting that help at that moment, I do not believe that I would be here having this conversation. So in that moment, accepting help helped me transform my mind, because I have not cussed out anybody this year. I have not. I
Yay!
know, right? People are shocked. I was like, I really haven't. Like, I have tried to think, and I'm like, I'm not really bothered as much because I
Perfect.
realized that, me accepting that help also allowed me to realize that if I don't take care of me, there's no me to take care of someone else.
That's right.
So that's how we're going to end, this episode. Again, thank you to Denika. This has been a
Wait,
toast.
wait, wait, hold
Oh,
on. You
go
said
ahead.
we were going to end this episode, and it's 1:11 it's 1:11 p.m. 111. And 111 is all connected to monitor your thoughts very carefully. Perfect. Love it.
So on that note, this has been a Toast to Truth with me, Vernetta, and my guest co-host, Denika Carothers. This is season 9, episode 2, and we share the consequences that you can encounter when you believe or not believe certain things about yourself. Go to vernettaarfree.com for the show notes. Make sure you go to vernettaarfree.com /category /podcast.